Hey guys, welcome to my conversation with your South Carolina 3A 190-pound state champion from Travelers Rest, Mitchell Knepp. Mitchell, how's that sound?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah,
Mm,
not too bad, not too bad as far as
yeah,
winning a state title. How long have you been working to finish on top of the podium?
11 years since
11
I
years.
started.
All
Mhm.
right. How did it feel winning it?
I, it felt great, but I'm pretty sure I didn't realize it till after I got off the mat and went to eat. Because after that match, I was so tired that I almost just fell straight down onto the mat. It took me a second, and it took a second for my teammates when I got off the mat. And one of my friends, he said, "He won," and then everybody seemed to realize I had just won the state title.
Well, it's one of those things, right? I did watch your match online and that sort of thing. You look exhausted,
Yeah, it
and
was. Um, it was a long day. It was we had came in at 3 is when they was going to start up the championship final round. So we sit in there and we didn't realize that the girls had wrestled, and then once they were doing the girls, they were also going to be doing the awards. So it was going to take like quite a bit longer. And by that time, I hadn't really eaten a whole lot and just didn't really have that sugar energy. So as you saw in the match, after the match, it was just tired. It was just a
yeah,
long day, long day.
yeah. Well, and a bit of a like an adrenaline jump. You get there dump. You get there early, and then you're at 190. Like I
Mhm.
mean, so you're at the almost at the very end anyway.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be tough. Before we get to talking about that, though, let's jump off the mat. Talk about a few things off the mat, so we can kind of just get to know each other. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, awesome. So, Travelers Rest High School, um, that's where you go to school. What's your favorite subject?
Favorite subject. That'd probably have to be probably like my science and science classes. So those are
Okay. So what do we take in terms of junior science? Is it like chemistry or physics?
for this year I did kind of like a food science kind of course.
Okay.
So all about like your nutrition, your food. Sometimes you get to cook in class, talk about make breakfast. It's real nice.
You get to cook in class?
They have a whole kitchen where each group can go over. We did breakfast one time. It was great.
What did you make?
We made pancakes, we made French toast, bacon, and omelets and eggs.
Oh wow. Did you happen to make it when you were in season and were you watching what you were eating?
Thankfully, I had it second semester and we were out of season because if I'm pretty sure if it was in season, I would have been really sad because I wouldn't be able to eat all of that food. And I was extremely happy.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. All right, so how about the subject you don't really like?
Oh, don't like. I'll have to say that'll go to my either languages or math courses.
Mm. What is it about them?
For my language courses, those are just for me. It was during that 2020 year of COVID and whatnot. We had done the second Spanish or the first Spanish, my bad, in during that year where it was all virtual. Everybody was staying out and then staying out of school and whatnot. And it was just I didn't really learn all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And the second year comes around that put me in Spanish two. I didn't know a thing from Spanish one other than some words were a little different. These are this way if this is this. And then I'm just like, well, so it was really tough getting back into that
I get,
classroom.
yeah, I get that. I get that. So was that like your freshman year? Did that COVID happen?
Freshman year. Yes.
Yeah, freshman year. All right. So go through a couple of these things. Sushi, yes or no?
Sushi. California rolls are all right.
Okay.
If it's if it really is fresh, like let's say I went to a pier based place and they did their own fish, say within 30 minutes, definitely good. It's a little if it's a little older, might want to probably probably say no. Say
That
no.
that that's something you avoid if you're like looking at it going, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is if you're picking up any fish, sea or sushi in like Wichita, Kansas, you're gonna go a different
No,
direction.
I'll be like, yeah, no gas station sushi for me, thanks.
All right. How about pineapple on pizza? Is that a thing?
One. Okay. I'm not going to say it's not a thing because it's a thing and I do occasionally enjoy it, but it doesn't make, I was never really against any kind of pizza. I'll say this, extra cheese on the pizza after the fact when it's already made, that's a no-no for me. It's just extra, just a little hard to swallow, I'd say.
Okay. Okay. I got you. All right. Finish the sentence. I have a fear of.
I have fear of that's a hard one. I have a fear of not getting those good grades. I think that's mine. I just really think that is because I know if I'm not doing there, my parents are gonna be like, "Hey, what's this?" They've gotten real strict about that. So I'd say that's
Okay.
mine.
Okay. All right. So not getting good grades over like snakes. I'm with you. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I
Hey,
guess the
if you
fear is instead of good grades, it's the parents. My fear would be like, please,
so if you were given the chance of living or going to to space, would you?
yeah,
You
that's
would.
it. Mhm.
All right. Um if you were if you were if I gave you the chance to like jump out of an airplane,
Yeah.
parachute. Yeah?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So take it.
Horror movies. Fan or not a fan?
Fan if they're done right.
Fan if they're done right. So can you give me an example of a horror
All
movie
right.
that you really like?
Let's see. I'd say I don't know if you've seen some of the Friday the 13th movies. I have enjoyed a couple of those and the couple Michael Myers movies. Those
Okay.
are
The Halloween movies.
mhm, mhm. I'd say if it's done with the correct suspense, you miss like misleading, but also at the same time you're expecting that mislead, and if they do it right, you'll be like, oh, it was actually this instead of that.
Okay. Yeah. So honestly, it's not even the genre, it's just probably really well-made movies, whether
Well,
it's
well,
like
well, well made story like movie telling. Yeah,
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I got you. All right. So last question off the mat. Do is there a skill that you have off the mat that people don't really know about?
Just gonna turn the camera here.
Oh,
A
okay.
big computer guy. I'm a big computer guy, even if it might not look like it. I'm a big computer guy. Say you want to, I'd say animation, a couple other things like that. Big on that.
Very cool. Very cool. How'd you get into that?
Um, just a lot of like, I wouldn't say like cartoons and stuff, but a lot of like animation and stuff. I think is really cool. Like tell a story and just show the characters and put them in situations that somebody else might not think of, and you can put it into a something you can see is really appealing to me.
Very cool. Is that a future kind of
Future cult.
path?
Yeah, I'd say that's a big one for me. I'd say that's if it's something I can do and have fun with, that's something I'd very much be into.
Very cool. That's awesome. All right, so let's switch gears and move on to the mat because what you just described is a little bit different than wrestling.
Mhm.
When did you start wrestling? How did you start wrestling? I know you told me like 11 years ago was what
Oh yeah.
in the earlier, but how'd you get into it?
So I started to get into it with like 6 years old. My dad's taking me to all these different kind of martial arts places, like say Taekwondo, Judo, going all through it, did judo for a little while, and then we're like, this is okay. It's not. So I got into wrestling all the way in Illinois, and it's a bigger thing up north because a lot of people are saying, oh look, you can't go out as much. It's not as big, but get into wrestling. It's inside, good for it's almost all year round. You can do it almost whenever. So I started going to that, doing a couple clubs, and it just kind of went from there and just kept
Yeah.
going, kept going. Middle school, come here, start wrestling. And it went
So
really well.
so what did you think of the first time you started wrestling? What did you think of the sport?
when I first thought of it, I'm like, I, I don't really get it. I mean, it's not like it's like super crazy, but then kind of as you got a lot better, there's a lot more skill into it than you originally think. Like you'd think, oh, the strongest guy's just gonna pick the other guy up and put him down.
Hmm.
Well, it's not. It's like you can see if you see a skilled 160 wrestler can wrestle a 215 if they don't know what they're doing.
Right, right. Okay, cool. All right. So do you remember your first ever match?
I believe I do. It was all the way back in Illinois. I was wrestling for maybe 4 months, 3 months, maybe. And first match I get onto, it's this one kid who's wrestling for like 2 years. I get in on a double to inside single leg. I take him over and I'm holding him. He fell to his back. He hadn't rolled to his stomach. And I was just holding those legs there, just holding it. And he's trying to turn, he's squirming. I'm pretty sure I rolled onto my back. I wasn't but I was just hanging on the legs and going. But I eventually do lose that match to him, but he ends up winning. So I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. And then my second match, I actually win, which was a big confidence booster at the time because I hadn't done it. I'm like, I don't know if I'd like it or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I want you to think back to leaving the state tournament last year. You qualified, but you didn't place. What were your feelings leaving the tournament?
Annoyance and disappointment, I think, are big ones for me leaving the tournament. It's
All
like
right.
you work it, you do what you need to do to get to that point to try and take to place, to go for first. And if you don't even make that, you know you could do better on that.
So what changed between last year leaving the tournament and this year and making a run?
Big thing that changed, I'd say the people in the room I wrestled with. At the time, you don't think about how much just going with just a couple partners can change your whole wrestling style, your whole going a lot harder. Earlier in like our team, everybody was a little, I wouldn't say super new, but they weren't super skilled. They didn't have what they like to do. They didn't know what they were good at yet. This year rolls around, they start to get more comfortable and they start doing all these things that earlier wouldn't be expecting, right?
Hmm.
So now it's when you're going with them, they're also getting stuff. You have to actually know what you're doing. You got to be able to think, oh, this is how you do this. Got to be watching for this. So it's big thing. Your partners, if they're as good or as better than you, then you're going to learn a lot from what they do and how they act.
So I want you to take me to that state finals match. It's 2-2. I think you got a takedown. He got a reversal in the first. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. And in the third, a minute left. It's still 2-2. What's going through your head?
Get up on that mat, trying to push my head into the mat. I am just thinking, get up. If I get on my 2 feet, it is I'm pretty sure first block or second period, I keep him down. He gets a stalling call, and I'm like, okay, if I'm up on my feet, I know I can keep getting up. And if he tries to bring me down and he can't, and I'm on my feet, that's either 1 point,
Hmm.
and that'll win me the match, or I stand up, escape, and I can fight for however much time is left to either keep that 1 point lead and prevent him from either trying to do maybe a good throw, any sort of big move, get a takedown. That's what I was hoping for.
And you did. And
Mm-hmm.
we already talked about how exhausted you were at the end. Um, but that feeling, you said it took a little while for it to sink in.
It did. It did. It was I'd say on the ride back, we were just getting out. We're on the ride back to go eat somewhere to celebrate. Going there, I'm sitting there. They bring me like a soda, just like sugar or whatever. I'm
Hmm.
drinking. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm on state, and I'm just then realizing I just won state, and I'm all excited. I'm celebrating, and it was real nice.
Very cool. Very cool. So what's next, Mitchell?
What's next? going for that two-time state champ, of course, because my sister, she was on the team. She had actually won her at girls state, first girl on her team to win girls state,
Very cool.
and she was gloating. She was gloating. I'll be honest. When she got that two state, she's like, "Ah, you haven't gotten one yet." So now I got my one. I'm gonna go for two, and then I can say, "Yeah, see."
All right. So the last question I have for you is a question I'm asking everybody, and that is why wrestle? Why is wrestling special to you?
It's special to me because you're just gonna have to commit to it. There is no in or maybe. You have to be in or you're out. There is no in between with that. It's either you're putting everything there to be better, to get better, to learn, to get strong, to just be there. It is there's no I can do this while I do this. No, if you're wrestling, you have to be there. You have to know, you have to want to get better.
Couldn't
That,
say
that
it better. That was great. That was great. So Mitchell, first, I want to say congratulations on winning a state title.
Thank you.
Second, I want to wish you the best of luck as you make a run for a number two and in
Yeah.
the future. And yeah, congratulations on a great season, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.